Gonna be going up to the northern area this time. I've been putting off this one because the boss is a little bit harder than the other guys here, but I think that after playing this game enough, and especially going through on New Game Plus, he wasn't as difficult as I kind of expected him to be. Well, regardless, that ability will be pretty useful coming up here, because the projectiles in this area are a little bit more aggressive than other ones. I think you can already tell what I mean. But, you know, that'll be in a little bit. Still get some nice shots of the old dilapidated buildings, shut down robots, mechanical spiders, which, you know, it's something that I really notice is that each area has their own, like, individual sets of enemies, and like the mechanical spiders are kind of like the worst version of the various enemies you can fight. They're sort of like how the east or the western area has crystal spiders, for example. And then you got like the Dirks, which are kind of like the universal enemies, with like the Gunner Dirks being like the kind of worse ones, but ranged. The regular Dirks being normal guys, and then you got like the swamp monsters. Then like each area sort of has a comparable sort of enemy type in them. Like you got the two different types of frogs being like the Dirk equivalents. You got like the plant monsters. You got like the tiny exploding plants being the equivalent of mechanical spiders. And then like in the western area, you have the two different types of samurai, again being like the Dirks. You have the crystal spiders being like the mechanical spiders, and then you have like the giant what do you call it? Crystal golems being the cyber flag. You can see on the edges there, it's kind of dissolving into pixels. And every single area has that sort of thing. It's kind of interesting. I don't know if that was intentional, like they wanted an analog to like each type. Secrets coming fast and hard, as always. You enter an area, and then right off to the right here, you get a monolith. That quick. Yeah, I don't know if that was intentional. Like, if they went into the design document being like, hey, we want to have, like, a super light, regular type enemy, and, like, a heavy enemy, and it to be specific to each area. But for some reason, it just kind of happened in this game. I don't know. Weird. There's the boss, the Hierophant. If you don't know what a Hierophant is, it's a... think Pope. Pope. That should give you a pretty good indication. Right up on the apex of the mountain there, of course. As if things appear like almost anywhere else in the entire area. It's almost pretty much at the exact edge and nowhere else. I think south is a little bit different, but aside from that. And although it does look like there is some stuff that you can go get down there, it's just a gear bit. Ah well, whatever. Hey, gear bits are useful. I need more, although I now have all of the basic... weapon, well, the basic sword and the basic movement upgrades, I still have a lot more upgrades to go. I haven't upgraded my health at all. I haven't gotten any of the roly-polies, the little bombs that you throw. I haven't upgraded any of the guns. I still would like to get the upgrade on the shotgun. Shotgun's fantastic. And I like to have as many bullets as possible there. Yeah, like I was saying, though, I'm not entirely sure if it was supposed to be intended that they wanted to have, like, the 3 different types of enemies for each area. Or 4, technically, I guess. Where yeah, you got, like, the light, normal, and then heavy. And it's, like, just kind of happened that way, though. I think it's pretty interesting. I think it's a pretty cool design. See the little cobblestones on the bottom there. As always, when it comes to entering houses, I'm a little bit... confused at first, because usually when you see like a solid wall, like on the left there, that is just a solid line of pixels. You're not able to go in there, but I don't know. Maybe it's more intuitive than I'm thinking, and just for some reason when I see a solid wall, I don't think I can go into it. As with most areas, you get a little teeny tiny Dirk encampment here, and a little area over there to the right. Suspicious. Yeah, that one area where you get the single staircase is like the only one that doesn't actually lead anywhere. And although this is an enterable area, can't come here until I beat the boss. With the darkness there, you'd think that there might be an indication of just what it might be like. Also, it's super early key door. Don't have enough room. Now, here's the most basic enemy type here. Since we're in Birdland, hey, big surprise, it's flying enemies. Hey, big surprise, you can't hit those enemies when they're on the ground. You can always shoot them with a gun. So, honestly, taking out like a... taking out your regular pistol or something like that that has a lot of bullets, because they have, I think, 1 health, you can always shoot them, even when they're in the air. However, you can only slash them when they're... after they kind of flash magenta there, that's when they're, like, close enough to the ground to be able to get with a slash. It's annoying. It takes me way too long to actually get used to that. Haha, you don't have bullets. It takes me way too long to actually get used to this thing. Yeah, see, that's the way you'll want to take care of them if you're not used to kind of like slashing them as they're coming down, but... Oof. Yes, the Vulture Men. It'd be a really nice shot of that Titan frozen sitting on the side of the mountain there. Also the music really kicking in. Ah, that's great. This game really does know how to make like an ambience. And I know how to ruin an ambience by talking over it. Hey. Alright. So yeah, the flying enemies, and those are the most like basic, simple type of enemies to deal with, but the fact that they can fly above you makes them harder to deal with than I'd say most of the like sort of lower tier enemies that you see in most areas. As much trouble as I have with something like one of the Gunner Dirks. More bones everywhere. Skeletons all around. There's a worldwide necropolis. It's kind of, I mean, morbid, but it's like, it's also so calming and simple. Also dogs, why? Ugh. For whatever reason, I guess like this area was attacked by crystal dogs. I mean, you see that a little bit more, but I don't know. It's weird. Why are there crystal dogs here? Why are they branching out from the forest? I don't know. If one of the many mysteries of this game which will never be solved. Yep. When I was initially playing the game, that one took me a while to find. I don't know why. You think it would be kind of... It's the forest canopy there, which is supposed to kind of like go up against... I don't know. Lore. All holding staves. As if it was some sort of religious thing. Them being, you know, part of the Hierophant's crew. You think it might be a religious thing? I think it might be a religious thing. Anyway. Good old fat... And also like a weird shrine there that looks like they were sacrificing dudes on it. A lot of different things. A lot of things to think about. Well, anyway. Still going up the mountain here. That's pretty much the entire thing. I mean, you're trying to get to the top. And then when you do, it's actually a little bit more... I don't know, it's interesting because some of the areas they have like, you know, branching areas, branching parts. Hey, it's the Guardian. He has a much easier time dealing with that than me. Well, anyway. Yeah, this area is a little bit more like... more or less... I don't know how you describe it. Obvious secret. And because it's an obvious secret, it's just a gear bit. And because this area is more or less like... think of it more like a glove, where it's just like you have one central area and then it kind of branches off into like 5 different areas. Rather than some like the other areas, which they have like 2 branch-offs, so the branch-offs go quite a way away. You'll see a bit more what I'm talking about when I kind of get up to the... When I get a little bit farther here. There's not a whole lot of dogs in this area because, you know, they didn't make it too far inside of this, but, you know. They are still frustrating. They are still here. It's the first module. You know, it seems like they were fighting a bunch of dogs, but why is that guy nailed to that giant statue? Also makes me wonder if, like, the nailing may have been more in a, I don't know, a more, T-pose, if you get my drift initially. I don't know, I feel like that would be a little bit too much. I don't know. So anyway, I think this is the last time you gotta deal with dogs in this area. Like I said, the dogs didn't get too far into here. The birdmen clearly had some trouble. They didn't have that much trouble fighting off these guys. And just kind of more like a little side story if you were writing the script for the Hyperlight Drifter movie. I don't know. Waterfalls, as with all waterfalls, you'd think there'd be like some sort of secret behind there. And not this one. At least not yet. Some good dashing. Nice introduction to the next enemy, which is like a vulture acolyte. I don't know. They only have 2 health. That beam that they fire, that's the only thing they can do. They just fire it, you know, straight at you. Plenty of warning. Blah, blah, blah. Mostly with multiple enemies. However, it does do 2 damage, so you gotta watch out there. You gotta be at least a little careful. Yep. Not quite behind the waterfall. I would say close enough. Even a not very artfully aimed shotgun blast will be able to take those guys out pretty easily. Shotgun, still very useful in this area. It never stops being useful. Another key. And... hey, wait a second. Did I forget to destroy that skeleton? I was going for a 100% skeleton destroyed run here. It's ruined. Trying to clean up this area. At the very... another area where you gotta use one of those things. Well, there's one of those things. Wrong gun, if I'm trying to show this off here. Yeah, no. You need something better than that. I mean, one of the first things I'd say to do in cleaning up an area is to get rid of all corpses and skeletons around. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Like, nothing says, you know, this place is filthy and unkempt like having skeletons everywhere. That was some good shooting. I didn't notice that I had no... yeah, really nice swing on the old charge attack there. In really, really densely packed areas, that shines, but it's also super hard to get off, so use with caution. Of course, that's a good trade-off. I like that sort of thing. As you can see, there's a bunch of these little platforms here that will go down. Even that little tiny one that I don't know if it's even possible to fall into. What is the deal with those things? I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, you see a big gate and it's like, what else is around here first? And here's the introduction to what you would consider like the heavy enemy of this area. Doesn't really stand up too well to the old shotgun, though. The Vulture Acolytes here are an issue, and especially if they get you in an area where you can't really dodge around too well. Hey, remember when I said the projectiles were going to be a little bit more aggressive in this area? Yeah. You can deflect those back, though that's a little risky proposition because they do come in on you pretty quick. And you can also just dash right through them. Those guys also have an attack that he was just about to use where he just slams the staff against the ground and creates like a big square that hurts you here. That's it. That does 2 damage, so I would suggest not standing it. These things still awful. Oh, I guess there was one more area where dogs appear here. The big vultures are not like the most heavy of enemies. They don't have like the comparable health to like a crystal golem or something like that, but they are pretty... they are tankier than most other enemies in this area. I think they have a total of 5 pips on there. And with the by the way, that magic blast, that is totally just a magenta colored version of Kamek's shot, or the Magic Koopa shot from Super Mario World. Like, just straight up. Also, just a free module here. And clearly not going to be as easy as just getting up the top of the mountain. Too bad. Of course, since the boss tends to be... By the way, is that the guy that you saw at the bottom of the mountain? Nah, I'm reading into it too much. How would he get up here first? And there's the 8 module door just here. Right before the 3 module door. Only one away from fighting the boss already. That's good time. Making good time here. Yeah, of course, as I played more of this game, I got kind of a bit more of a hang of exploration, finding stuff. Maybe unlocked some memories of when I got all these things initially. I don't know, hard to say. But yeah, the other thing that you saw was near the teleporter pad there were giant like pillars that had teleport pads on top of them. And pretty much that's kind of like the point of this area, where you have those 2 gate doors to the right. You have like 3 teleporters to the left, and that's like, and they each kind of like converge up on top of that. It's still very much non-linear, but it's non-linear in a more branches, but like shorter paths. Acolytes all over the place. There's tons and tons and tons of those guys, and more smashy blocks. Oh, smashy blocks. If there's one thing that I have more trouble with than anything else in this game, I don't know why I die so much of those things. Pews and all that sort of stuff. Now, hey, you see that secret down there? That one took me a long time. L-O-N-G, long time to figure out. Oof. There you go. Also, because those things only lower when you're on that teleporter pad, it can be kind of touchy to actually get off of that sometimes, because the second you step off, you'll start to get the teleporter pads coming right back up there. It's annoying. And don't stay on one side of the rail, that never helps. Yeah, gunplay. Gunplay is the best way to take out those things. Or just really weird collision stuff. Or just really well-timed slashes, but, well, if you don't get really well-timed slashes, you're taking damage. I keep trying to get I mean, you can see I'm out of stamina there. But, like, I kept trying to get, like, the dash slash there, and due to the way that the flying vultures work, they don't really like to get hit by that very much, even though it looks like you have to get them in the absolute nadir of their dive, and that's the only way that you can get them in a dash slash. You're much better off just doing a regular slash or hitting them with a gun. Guns always work against those guys. If you're having trouble with them, just take out your pistol and fire a few shots out there. And every single one of these not quite aligned. If I was a little bit more courageous in my chain dashing, you can get through there pretty quickly. Yeah, that was an obvious trap. Still fell for it. I didn't even need that. Ah, stupid. Honestly, I think the best way to deal with those turrets is to just take out the gun. Honestly, I think the best way to deal with those turrets is to like just reflect or dash through those shots. Like, don't even like try to avoid them stupidly and then lose out on a health pack because you got hit before the animation finished. Ugh. Yeah, those little hanging things. They're like little punching bags. I don't know. Here's the universal heavy enemy, the old Swamp Man. And as usual with that guy, when you bisect him, his top half just kind of flies around randomly. Yeah, it's sort of goofy. Oh, there, he just seemed to peace out off screen. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, they love putting you in these areas with where the acolyte vultures there have an easy time hitting you because it's so teeny tiny. Of course, if you're even like a little careful, it's not too bad. Ah, good stuff. Who saw that coming? Me. That's how you do a quick revive. Just heal immediately after the screen comes back into focus here. How did I figure that out here? Well, take a guess. I said before that what happens when I die, I basically become super... There goes the top half, that guy. Who knows where? Back to the void, where he belongs. But yeah, I've said before that it's like pretty much when I die in an area, I'll get like impatient and then lose like 20 more times. Like a lot of these times, I mean, I don't even have to do any editing. I just get through first time, no issue. But then it's like I die once and it's like, oh, here comes 20 more deaths. I don't know. You can see when they line up there to all smash at the same time, that's the easiest way to get through. And having even the smallest amount of patience is the easiest way to get through that area. That's not my style, apparently. For better, or for, obviously in this and most cases, worse. Hey, haste makes waste. Also, that was super close. Haste makes waste, but it also makes for a better video, at least in my opinion. It's easier to do editing than it is to play good, apparently. Hey, look, when it comes to you viewer guys, you don't at least have to see every single time I die here. It's just the first time in each one of the rooms. Well, until I make more progress. Pretty much, I cut out every death where I don't make progress. That's kind of the MO that I'm working with. I think it's the best way to do it. And then when they smash all at the same time, yeah. Right into the wall. Was that entirely necessary? No, but I was sick of doing that. Whatever. Yeah, the basic way that these are edited is just like, if I make progress, I'll keep in the next death. If I don't make progress, I'll cut it out. So it's like, if you... By the way, bonking into that should have been a death sentence, but it totally wasn't. Hooray! Yeah, pretty much the general MO here is, if it's not something new, you're not seeing it. Yeah, there was a good example of the dash slash just not working on any of those guys. And also, just the most one of these guys here. There's another quick revive. It does use one of your health packs, which is what makes it a little bit more questionable. And considering the fact that I haven't upgraded health packs at all in this game, I wanted my movement options. I value movement options a lot more than health. I mean, if you watch any of my Dead Cells videos, you know I value strength over health, I value damage over health, I value everything over health. I would much rather be a one-hit kill and be able to kill heaven or hell. That's the way that I would rather play the game rather than being in a gigantic tank. Well, anyway, after dealing with that whole gaggle of birds, were you trouble? A module. That's 3. That's enough to actually finish this area if I so chose. I mean, I still need one more, but I think you can get one in the 3 module door. Don't quote me on that. And see, here's where it just all kind of comes back around. I think, like, yeah, a glove is a good way to describe this area. Short, but a bunch of different paths. The old-fashioned, just like, shoulder height fence. No, you can't get around that. Come back later. Kill the Pope first. Kill the Pope and maybe I'll let you through this tiny, tiny fence. Secrets. And, unlike most secrets, this one's guarded by a skeleton. But no. It continues on. No, this is a more substantial secret than usual. Big elevators. But big elevators leading down to the bottom of the mountain? Why would you want to go there? You just work so hard trying to get up to the top. And here's how you get back. Good stuff. Nice to be able to see it kind of return to form here. This is also another reason why I think it's at least a little bit fitting to save this for, you know, roughly midway through the game. Being able to get a little nostalgic about the early parts of this here. It's a nice little touch being able to go through here. See all of the dumb tutorial stuff about who cares because it's all super easy now. Also a somewhat unique, like, area here. You don't really get this sort of, like, style anywhere else in the game. Kind of. Somewhat. Don't need that gun anymore. It's still as bad as ever at shooting that. That's never gonna stop. There, at least got that one on the first try. Ugh. Yeah, so anyway, here's your basic. Oh, if you ever need the achievement for dying in the tutorial area. Oh, you do still get some of the tutorial prompts. That's dumb. Hey, there's the thumbnail for the first video. At least it's still kept up the path to the next area here. By the way, you'll remember that at the very start of the game, what happened was I did not actually get through this area. What happened was that the Drifter here had a case of the coughing fit and then kind of collapsed before he got to wherever he was actually trying to go before he was rescued by the Guardian and brought back to the village area. Here's where he was actually going. And what is this area, you ask? It's where you get all the monoliths! Hooray! I think it's north, south, east, west, west, east, I don't remember, for each one of the 4. So as you can see, I don't have every single one from each area, except for, I think, the west area? Is that the west area? I think that might be the east area, actually. Well, whatever, it will all be filled out by the end of this, don't you worry. And teleporter to send you right back to town. Right next to a bird guy, in fact. Yeah. And you need to get just barely out of there so you can actually use your sword again. Because you can't use your sword in town. Drifter just gives like a little nod face. You know, it's that. And since I actually have enough gear bits to be able to afford something else, I do have everything for the sword at this point. Everything very useful, except for the, that one. I'm not a huge fan of that one. I much rather like to use the one where you dash into enemies and then slash them at the same time, rather than that one, which is kind of based around, like, using pushback to, like, push them into walls or something. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, there's the return to the tutorial area. Oh, and there's the Twin Blade guy that told you about the Hangman. That's cool. It would still be a better option, but oh, finally. Took so long. I can finally use my favorite weapon in the way that it should be. And for good measure, since I still have more currency here. Finally get one of these things too. Of course, if you watch the Hyperlight Drifter West video, you've already seen me use a couple of these since I had this upgrade. Well, basically I did the kind of like last part of that video right after I did the north area here, so because Stop doing that. Why is that Birdman making so much noise? Well, anyway, that would be the old return trip to town, as well as where the tutorial area is actually located in the world. Because considering that you were, kind of teleported out, well, through a cutscene by the Guardian, it's like you never really had a good. Ooh, look at that. Yeah, unlike the Titan that's over in the east area, this one's not as well preserved. Very much just a husk of a creature at this point. And like I pointed out in the west area, not a big skeleton. I don't know, maybe that's because, so frozen that you can't really, like his flesh is there because bacteria is not going to eat something that frozen, but I don't know. I also got a good shot of all the books here. These guys are not just, religious. They are also very much... Nope. These guys are not just religious. They are also they're like the learned section of the world. These guys are the erudites. And hence I'm able to destroy all those books all the time. Because, yeah, hey, they spent all that time writing those books or whatever. I guess I'm just going to destroy them. You could learn something, Drifter. keep your mind open. For example, for secrets. Like the module. Oh, and is this the 4th module? Oh boy, yeah. Here it comes. Man, Judgment is so cool, he doesn't even need to look at you when he kills you. What a jerk. Well, anyway, that's enough to actually complete this area. But not enough for me. Hey, 100%, baby! Alright, so... here's where you start to get a good example of the... I don't know, I guess what you could kind of consider one of the, like, more gimmicky type parts of this area, maybe a little bit? Maybe? Like the lifting up and down good stuff. Like the lifting up and down platforms is actually pretty commonly seen in this area. Kind of partitioning off areas, blocking stuff. It's been used in other areas, but I think like in the north here, and especially like in this specific area, this like little subsector, you see it more used? I don't know. You know, it's definitely a good way to get economy out of a single room. You don't have to make an entirely separate room, furnish it with a bunch of different stuff. It's like, no, just have waves of enemies and then raise and lower the walls. It also looks super cool, too. I appreciate it. I always like seeing stuff where it's like working with your limitations in a game to try to get more content without putting in like a ton more work. It's something that you see like, well, it's something that game designers will try to hide a lot. But if you look close enough, you can see it. I can't... What is going on there? How did I not hit him? Tons and tons of these Acolyte guys. Like I said, they work best in small enclosed spaces. So the ability to... See, there, now I'm finally getting good at hitting projectiles back. That's going to be something so important later on. But yeah, I said that these guys, they work best in small enclosed areas, so having a place that can just like become enclosed is super advantageous for them. Which is, I suppose, the reason why. No, there aren't any more secrets around here. I was just looking around because you can see that, well, maybe there are. Maybe there are and I just don't know them. I didn't get all the gear bits after all. You can see that area down there that I just don't know how to get, and I don't know if that's intentional or not. Hey, I'm doing, like I said, it's not a 100% run, it's just a most of content run. My enemy teleporters in here too, so you know what's going to be coming. And also some tricky chain dash, well, not chain dashing, just regular dashing stuff. And you can see in the background there, yep, that's one of the Titan's arms. I guess this is where he kind of like punched through the mountain. Man, those guys were menaces. They're gone, though. Round 2. Yeah, one of the nice things is if you kind of stay on the left side there, the Acolytes will kill themselves pretty handily. Look at this incredibly ominous structure that is being built in the middle of the room here. Hey, intro of new enemy. It's a guy that shoots missiles at you. He has 5 health, so full shotgun blast to the face to take him out. And you can deal with his projectiles like everything else, but if they hit you, they explode. They explode and they do 2 pips of damage. Or maybe 3 pips of damage, I don't remember. It's a lot. However, you can do the cool guy thing and slash apart their missile so it just falls uselessly to the ground. Which is pretty cool, but... Those guys I would count as like the moderately heavy, like a step above the Dirks, a step below the Swamp guy. As far as, and it looks like there should totally be something over there, but there's not. Whatever, module, just give it to me. Slam it in my face. Or wherever the Drifter is putting this. Or not putting this. Maybe it just goes back home to the center of town there. It's not clear because it just sort of disappears. But yeah. Those guys are kind of like the... That guy I would consider like the Dirk Gunner of the heavy class of universal enemies. Enemies that you find everywhere. There's a second teleporter pad done. And since I have 5 at this point... Oh, yeah, I never actually used one of the roly-polies. There you go, it explodes. Does 2 pips of damage... 2 or 3 pips of damage. I don't remember. In a big area, it's... You have to, like, not be moving to use it. That's why... I don't know. I can never get it, like, used properly. Every single time I try using it, it's like I'm... What you want to do to use it maximally, have maximal effectiveness on it, is to throw it out and then walk towards it, so enemies will follow you into the range, and I'm bad at doing that. Also, I'm super confused here because for some reason I thought there was a third area to go to, and there's not. Well, I mean, the third area is the tutorial area, so you're looking for that one. But obviously I've already been there, so... whatever. Over to the 3-module door. Yes. And since there are 4 pillars in the middle there's only 3 teleporters though, and no, the 4th one doesn't have like any sort of crazy secrets or anything on it. I looked around. I mean, I guess I could actually look at I tried to avoid looking at a guide as much as possible for this game, because I wanted to try to get everything on my own. I eventually had to resort to it to get the rest of the monoliths, but that was only like 3 monoliths, so it's not too bad. Like, at least I hope it's not too bad. You guys aren't mad at me or anything, are you? No? I'm still okay? Thumbs up? Yeah. Okay, great. Sounds good. Anyway. Alright, the 3-module door. Going down, Barracuda. Into what appears to be kind of like a church-type area? I don't know. I mean, this is the sort of place where you... I mean, it definitely looks like one. These huge tattered banners here, too. And look at this area. I mean, it looks way more difficult than it actually is. Because that's all you do. No, really, that's it. Yeah, you can hit back little Magic Koopa shots there if you want to. I honestly don't know if that was intentional. Because, like, a lot of the things in this game are, like, you know, big chunky square pixels, like, as a stylistic thing. So, I can't imagine that they were explicitly doing, like, a reference to the Magic Koopa shots from Super Mario World, but it's so similar. I guess I'm gonna chalk it up to convergent evolution of ideas and call it a day. Because boy, do I not want this game to be like, hey, look, it's Super Mario World. You remember Super Mario World? Like my game. Alright. Now, when you start to get these guys in big groups, they're just awful because homing shots when you're trying to deal with multiple enemies at a time. No, that's where the shotgun really comes in to take them out easy and effortlessly. You still have to get near them. You still have to endure the slings and arrows of outrageous misfortune, which is dealing with other enemies. But it generally they go down pretty quick. If you get your chain, that is a super... at once, it's a super difficult module to find, but if you're on the lookout for it, it's a very quick one to get. Definitely something that happens a lot in this game. I mean, the areas aren't like... You know, you tend to get like 4 modules that are just kind of like on a critical path, you know, like after you fight a big battle. Yeah, destroy all the books. You tend to get like 4 modules on like a critical path where you just like find them out in the open after a big battle or something like that. And then you get like 4 more hidden modules. That's certainly not how it works every single time. There are probably more modules that are just kind of out there, whether it's behind like one of the very few minimal key doors that you need to go through, like in the east and west areas, or whether it's one of the like you know, just like a bunch of different areas that you can go to that you just need to poke around in a little bit. It might not even be like a secret explicitly. But, you know, I think like that's kind of what the basic idea, basic design plan of like how to find modules, how to get modules was. You can go down farther there. I didn't know that. Also, you can see how your robot buddy keeps trying to tell me about something. And obviously, destroy, and it's a teleporter. Gets you a little battle with the acolytes here, another Bitcoin, and then you can drop right back down. Don't even have to wait a minute. I really like this library area. I'm a big fan of like any sort of library areas in games. I always think it's super cool. Like, just the idea that there's this so much like lore and information around you. See, I would be that guy in the middle of the room here. I can appreciate that dedication to study. Or something. By the way, that does not appear to be a skeleton of a Birdman, so I don't know. What does it mean? Also, you can see here on the horizon, it's just like, apparently this is, at the very least, surrounded by a big ocean. But, like, this may be, like, the only, you know, Pangea-type country in the world. Certainly don't really learn about any other, like, areas across the sea or anything like that. I don't know. I mean, you can even see that apparently, like, the world may just be pretty tiny because you could see, like, the edges of that being pretty rounded anyway. I don't know. Big old boss door. You know what's coming. Well, it's the Hierophant. I mean, they let you know what the boss is going to be ahead of time here. That guy. You know, very Pope-like, executing a dude immediately. You can see why this guy may be a little tough to fight. You gotta make sure that your dashes are on point. Obviously, you don't actually get hurt until the squares on the ground explode. But they explode pretty quickly, and you get stuff that, like, follows you here. Yeah, in New Game Plus, when you only have 2 health, those birds are the only things that can do damage to you without killing you. Everything else is a death sentence here. Well, keep your dodge game on point, get all your most powerful attacks out here, and just be aware. That's how you fight this guy. He can be tough if you're not prepared. You can see there. Real sham of a Pope. He wasn't even a single bird, he was 2 guys. He was 2 guys the entire time. Of course, the fact that he was also, you know, like, murdering a bunch of people and, like, raiding the hatchery and killing all of the infant birds, it may not have been the greatest leader of birdmen that they've ever had. Oh, and what's this? Finally, it's the rifle. You remember all of those... Hey, destroy that skeleton. You remember all of those individual, like, pillars that require you to have a quote-unquote more powerful gun? Well, this one, so powerful it has its own laser sight. Look at that. Leaves smoke when it hits something. It does quite a bit of damage, actually. Just goes right down. It's like, oh hey, you killed the boss. Okay. Yeah, it does quite a bit of damage, and obviously can be used now to solve some of the, like, individual areas. Finally do some real cleanup in all the, well, in every single area, including this one, that I wasn't able to do before. With that, with a couple more modules to go, and hey, guess what? There's going to be a few modules behind some of those. Not in the east or west area, but in the north area here. Because, I mean, you know, this is where you get that gun. So, with that, that would technically be the north area. If you shut off the video here, I don't blame you. You've seen pretty much everything you want. However, no, now we got the cleanup. Well, I mean, before that, it's just like warp back to town, go spend all the gear bits, all that sort of stuff too. Obviously, since you're going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff with like with some of the gunplay coming up here, I think that, you know, getting a few more bullets in this thing is pretty advantageous. since I also tend to miss shots even with the laser sight pretty well. And since I'm probably going to be fighting more birds, spoiler, I'm going to be fighting more of those flying birds, getting more pistol shots never hurts either. So yeah, here comes the cleanup. You remember this area from the very start. Now this is the point where like Hyper Light Drifter just straight up goes into like horror almost. You just get like the sounds of sliding blocks here, a bunch of mechanical spiders which generally appear in dark and spooky areas. It's dark, super hard to see everything, and then you get this kind of like weird maze area. Yeah, like, here, I'll shut up for a second. Listen to some of this ambient noise. Well, okay, after I get this. You just get piles and piles of bone everywhere. Well, you know the Hierophant was killing a bunch of dudes. Maybe this is where he was throwing them. Also, get out of the way, Bones. Jeez. I'm dragging them along with my feet. He's saying Dark Souls, you know. You hear just slightly off in the distance that there's the thumping of another one of those giant smashing blocks. And also, secrets in here. Useless secrets. They don't actually lead anywhere, which is too bad, but whatever. Let's be honest, I don't want to stay in here any longer than I have to because it's a dark maze. Oh, I hate dark mazes. There you can see the smashing block. And taking down that pillar actually takes down, well, makes it so that the maze is opened up a lot. It's significantly easier to get like everywhere around here. I didn't do a whole lot of exploring around since I vaguely remembered this area, but like, let's get an entire pile of bones with me there. I didn't really spend too much time in this area because I vaguely remembered like what it was like here. But yeah, what do? Not that. Because I vaguely remembered what this area was like, but if you actually look around, there's like a bunch of raised blocks that go down when you put down that. Now, that's kind of a rough secret to find. Even rougher is that that gear bit is hidden under that pile of bones, which is hard to see. There's a bunch of little raised pillar type areas that go down when you actually hit that, when you activate that pillar there. Makes it way easier to kind of get through here. And also just huge, ungodly amount of spiders coming in. Of course, spiders tend to come either single guys or many at once. But that's the seventh module. So, next one here. Well, next is more rifle cleanup. That was just kind of since that was at the very start of the video, I felt like you had to kind of see what was in there. It's weird. But, you know, going a little bit, well, yes, there's a bunch of drowned ottermen there, but it's slightly more cheerful in this area. I don't know. It's a chain dashing challenge again. Which you'd think, considering that I was able to do that whole arena thing, I would have got this on my first try, but you'd be wrong. No, nothing else to be said there. Another key, really racking them up now. Since all the modules are already got in this area, a lot of the like rifle pillars that you, well, the pillars that you need the rifle for to activate, pretty much have like a lot of like the keys and the like behind them. Here's the area in the west. Reflect back all those shots so you can do this uninterrupted. And you come over here and you get yourself a gear bit. Hooray! Yeah, no, that's not the only thing over here. That would be stupid. This is where I thought when I was initially doing the West area video, this is where I thought there would have been another module, because I don't know, I didn't remember what was over here. So I was kind of thinking, I gotta get the rifle then before I... Yeah, you can also activate that with your sword. Not that it ever comes up, but... Another key. And there's that door down by all those crystal spiders that I wasn't able to get into before. And I don't think there's any way that you actually can get into it ever. Like, no way to activate it. I don't know. Anyway, and then the final rifle pillar here is this one, which goes over here. And hey, since you're outside, there's plenty of room for guys to be able to fly around here. Oh boy, my favorite. Here's where I actually start to get the practice in hitting these guys as they're coming towards you. Just gotta get a rhythm in there. Just gotta get a rhythm, gotta pay attention. And when worse comes to worse, use the gun. Gun is always effective against these guys. Of course, you don't always have bullets if you're not, like, slashing or if you're trying to shoot these guys all the time, so... there's a give and take. Ah, that was a good one. And although I am very close to dying here, I've taken out pretty much everything that would be of any real threat, so I don't think there's any real... Yeah, well, it's Singleberg or whatever. Yeah, see, now I'm finally getting good at doing that. And nah, there's nothing else over here. It looks like there should be something over here. There's not. Just more wooded area, whatever. No, the real prize is up at the top of the... Well, I guess the other peak, the other cliff? I don't know. Not before that happens. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Things are going worse. Hey, very quick cut. That's right, I'm going to be merciful and make sure that you don't have to watch all of that again. Alright. Yeah, like that guy's going to matter at this point. It's the huge peach-colored sky vista. Which is weird because a little bit further up on the mountain you could easily see the ocean there. So, I don't know. And is that the last module? Why, yes. Yes, it is the last module. So with all 8, that means another secret special area. Secret-y-ish special area. Well, it's secret and special. It requires 8 modules. I consider that pretty secretive. I mean, at least 4 of the modules... Yeah, why am I even trying to justify this? So anyway. Anyway. So obviously, this is the easiest 8-module door to... Well, I guess the one over on the west side is like literally just south of the teleporter. Yeah, this one you actually need to walk past, though. It's not even optional to be able to, like, avoid being confronted with the fact that you need 8 modules to open up some doors. Well, let's see. Unlike the west area, but very similar to the east area, this is a more combat-focused secret-type area. Also, a little bit different ambience. Just starting right off the bat here. I don't even know why it does that. It's not like I would ever fall for it, or even have any issue doing it. There you go. Unfortunately, there's also a turret here, too. Yeah, as long as you're quick, you can scroll right off screen and it will stop shooting at you. Get a good shot of just, like, a bunch of little waterways and everything kind of going down here. I guess that's where a lot of the snow sort of goes down. Maybe feeding into, like, the lake in this area. Maybe I'm thinking about it too much, and I'm just trying to stretch for things to talk about as I just kill tons and tons of birds. I'm a real colonel here of Kentucky Fried Chicken fame. Yeah, you can see kind of the gimmick with this area is that you're supposed to be sort of on the clock to defeat these guys. Not that it really mattered, and it's not even difficult at all. Yeah, whatever. Not every single design decision has to be 100% fully explored. As much as I like to see a lot of like the little gimmicks done and done well, it's like if you don't think you got something good with that, don't feel the need to like put it in the game. Like I was saying in the eastern area where they have like the enemies that can hit buttons on their own because they can. Well, it put me on there anyway, so I guess that's fine. I don't know. But yeah, like some of the stuff with the fire pads, like lighting adjacent fire pads on fire, and that doesn't actually do anything effectively in the game. It just makes for one kind of interesting set piece in the 8-module door in that area. Ooh, gotta be careful with that. Or like you get the, what do you call it? The enemies can hit buttons on the ground, which will raise and lower platforms, but that's like almost never really used anywhere. It's more just like a quirk of the engine that like exists, doesn't do anything. Here's where actually using like the pistol or just the rifle that I just got would be very useful too. But you know what? I haven't done enough stuff with the old reflecting bullets. And there may be a reason for that. Anyway, it's an important ability. It's an important ability for an enemy you'll see later. Let's just say that. Yeah, see there. Okay, so I guess rifle does 2 pips of damage, but you know, you can fire it pretty fast. If you upgrade the ammo, you have a good amount of shots. You get a laser sight. You know, it's decent. I'd still probably rather use the pistol. Because you can hammer... I mean, especially in like the Naked Boss Rush, you'll see, which is, by the way, is coming up for the Hierophant here. You can fire real fast with the pistol, and it has like no recoil, no loading animation, anything like that. You just like get it out, you fire a million bullets in a single direction. It's a good way to deal with a lot of dudes. I just don't switch to it a lot because if I switch to a gun, then I generally forget to switch back, and that gets me killed. When I think I have a shotgun blast coming out, and I'm just actually shooting them once with a pistol, and then they get a full, powerful swing off on me. When I assume that they would be dead. And here's another little area here. That's pretty paltry for a secret. Just a single... Yeah, no, there was more there. I didn't know. I found out later. And here's where you get the proper battle arena. And obviously here, this is kind of based around having your arena kind of appear and disappear, sort of like I was talking about earlier, where that's kind of like an area gimmick here. So here's where it comes in to the fullest extent. Yeah, getting the roly-poly out, getting an effective roly-poly usage out here is pretty great. It will take out all of those birds within its radius. So, you know, use it. The only way to deal with these guys here is to reflect shots or shoot them. Well, at least until those platforms come back up. Man, getting homing shots in here while also dealing with these dashing, flying vultures, that's really annoying. Yeah, you always want to have at least like one shotgun shot to be able to take those guys out quickly. It makes it so much less of a hassle. And that'll do it for that battle arena. Didn't even get any of the basic acolytes there, just the full-on shamans. Shaman? Shaman, I guess. And here, instead of getting a new weapon or a new outfit, it's just a monolith. But hey, come on, monolith. Monoliths are cool. I got some gear bits as well. That's great. I don't know. Hey, secrets are secrets. I'm getting them if I know that they're there. And finally here... Well, oh yeah, there's also there's the last teleporter. Can't get over to the right one, and there's nothing even on there anyway, so... Whatever. No symmetry. Take umbrage with the bird people for that. And here is Naked Boss Rush Hierophant. I have no weaponry other than basic sword, other than my pistol. Here's where you really got to have your dodge game on point. You can't just kind of chain dash away from those snake following explosion areas. So it can be pretty difficult here. It didn't actually take me too long because, yeah, doing the New Game Plus version of this guy was just nightmarishly difficult in a lot of ways. So I got pretty good, obviously not perfect, at taking out this guy. Yeah, I think that like when he summons those guys and when the vultures get in the middle of the room, that's when you want to like start firing off a bunch of pistol shots, because that takes them out pretty quickly, because they'll be dashing at you while you're also trying to hit the Hierophant for a little bit extra damage. Also, the explosions on the floor do take out the flying vultures there, so that's kind of like the gimmick for this guy. Sort of like how the Hanged Man can destroy his own men, or how like the adds the Emperor summons can get you a lot of extra damage on him. But that'll do it for the Naked Boss Rush. See you next time.